Hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 14 of Techopolis. In the last episode, we went to the Nether, and we got our first Nether Technium ingots, which we can probably get to automate today. And for that, we need to embrace our inner lumberjack. And that is because we need to farm some shroomlights, which we need for Nether Technium ingots. And to farm them, we're gonna make some tree absorbers, absorb some blocks. For example, for the crimson one, you absorb netherwort blocks and crimson stems, basically like a crimson tree. And then for this, you absorb a warped tree of sorts to get shroomlights. And we're gonna set up both of those and some extras in a special room that I prepared in between episodes, which is sitting above this wonderful ceiling that I threw together in 10 minutes. Don't judge me, I'm proud of it. I'm not the best at ceilings, really. Anyway, up here, we have a special new room that looks like this. And apparently a bunny spawned because we have grass blocks. Okay, I might not use grass blocks. Also, the bunny might have to disappear, but I will not show it. He will mysteriously fall off the platform on his own. Are you afraid of me? Bye, bunny. Are you gonna jump off? I'm assuming he's... Oh. He perished. It wasn't my fault. Don't judge me. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by a bunny, we're gonna have a room with 6 tree absorbers, one of which is gonna farm us slime balls, the other one is gonna farm us ender slime balls, 2 of them are gonna be for shroomlights, one for the crimson wood and one for the warped wood thingy, and the other ones are gonna be mineral and acacia. Acacia is just the log that we currently have in the system everywhere, so we're just gonna go with that. We don't really need to use anything else. And the mineral ones we don't really need, but I don't have another one to put in here. And if we need something else, we can swap the mineral one out for something else if needed. And I think this wall behind here is going to be perfect to use for a drawer wall. And I'm not going to be saving everything from each one of these. Most of the stuff I'm going to be really trash canning. For example, we can keep the logs from the acacia, which we need. We can keep the sticks from everything that's going to produce sticks. And then from these, we're just basically going to keep the slime balls because we don't really need anything other than that. And the way we're going to store everything in drawers is, of course, a drawer controller, which is going to get a connector on the bottom. And then we're also going to attach the controller. And we also need a cable for some power, which I think I'm just going to do over here. And then we're going to grab a flux point, which we're going to toss right over here. So the controller is going to get power directly. And then we can just transfer power to all of these. And you can do a really cool thing that I didn't know. You can copy paste things, right? I knew that before, but I always copied the channel. Like if you do, let's say an insert over here, you can copy the connector and then you can click here and you can click on paste, but you can also do Control V as well. So you can do with your keyboard. It's super cool. And we can do Control V here and just set an extract. And that way all of these should be getting power. And some of these should start producing items, and each one of them is going to get an ultimate Technium ingot. So I need a total of 6 of these, like so. And now I need to figure out everything that I'm going to store and grab it from the drawers that we have still temporarily down below over here. We will slowly start adding drawers to the drawer controller so we can easily set an extract out of all of these for items. And we can extract everything. We're going to do stacks at a time. So we can copy this over to all of these. And we can then do an insert here on this one. And it should start transferring everything that we are storing. So we can slowly and surely start adding drawers for things that we need. For example, the slimy saplings we're not going to keep. So for the moment, I'm just going to grab a barrel. And we're going to put everything that we don't need in this barrel for the moment. And then we're going to add another trash can somewhere down here, possibly just on this connector. And we can trash can everything that we are not really going to keep. It's time to go back into the Nether to see if we can find a warped forest where we can harvest some warped warp blocks and warped stem so we can actually start crafting or processing in the tree absorber the warped warp blocks and get shroomlight even faster. I finally managed to find a warped forest. It took way longer than it should have. I traveled all the way over here. The map isn't really fully made in journey map, but it goes all the way over here. I found a fortress over here, another fortress over here. I found a bastion somewhere. There it is. There's the bastion. And I traveled all the way from here. This is where my waystone is. So yeah, now we can finally harvest these and we can actually set it up in the base. I realized I didn't actually show you how you set up the tree absorber or how you know what kind of structure you need above it. You basically go inside, you go on show recipes, you find the recipe that you want. For example, I want the warped fungus tree thingy. You click this, requires a structure, click to view the required structure, and then it shows it over here. It basically shows it on all the tree absorbers around you, but just ignore the ones that are already built, and then you just build it. Same way as is in here. So you grab some warped warts. And as soon as you have it built, this guy starts working, and we can start adding also the things that we want to keep. I think I'll just keep all the stems, basically, or all the logs, I should say, from all the trees, because we can use them for building or for other things, I guess, for making planks. We're probably never going to use them, but I guess I'll keep them because we can. I quickly realized that having a mineral tree as a filler is not really great because we're not really using integrated dynamics anyway. So we're just going to fill this slot with a jungle tree because that can produce us cocoa beans, which in turn turns into brown dye, which we're currently using for our elevators, for example. So it's going to be nice to have that just automatically being harvested. And you can see here, I decided to choose 9 items that we're going to store. One of them is a blank item, which is the ender slime once we get to that. But other than that, 3 types of logs, the nether warts and the slime balls, cocoa beans, sticks, and then the shroom lights. And there was just enough space to sneak in the storage bus onto the drawer controller. And I hooked it into the dense smart cable that is hooked up to the P2P tunnel for our elite and ultimate Technium ingots. And now that we have shroom lights, we can easily start automating the nether Technium ingot. So I prepared with the XNet cables that I have to put around like so. And now we need to export everything into the drawer controller with 2 capacity cards, round robin, and then all 6 of these items. Next, we need to transfer energy to all of the machines, like so. Next, we need to extract all the items from the drawer controller and insert them into the resource combiner, which should start working on the thing if it wasn't paused by redstone, of course. There we go. You should start making us nether technium. There we go. And once we have our first one, we can actually set the redstone control here for 300 and emit when levels are above or equal to limit. We have the nether technium over here in the bottom already set. So all we need to do is just extract it out of the machine and insert it into the proper drawer, which is the one that is showing over here, like so. We can then add it to the export bus over here and set up the multi-servo press. So auto input, auto output. Well, auto input doesn't really need to be, but we can auto output down the bottom once it makes our first Technium plate. There we go. And we can set up redstone control here in the back as well for 100 of these Technium plates. We're also going to give it the maximum speedy upgrade, so it's going to make the Technium plates super quickly. And now all we have to do is wait and possibly give the export bus a little bit of a head start with some acceleration upgrades. Now, the only last thing that we're missing is actually automating blazing blood, which we can do with melting the blazing crystals. I just need to find a spot where I want to do that because most of our spots are filled on this side, I believe. I have everything filled. Yeah, that's why I made the ceiling on the room. Actually, no, I have this spot. Ooh, yeah, I can sneak it in here. I think that's fine. To automate this, it's going to be super simple. We're just going to export the blazing crystals into this drawer, and the drawer has a storage downgrade, so we're going to only export a stack. We're then going to have a magma crucible, which we're going to augment fully, and we're going to set up an auto input from the top and an auto output down the bottom. And then we're going to have a fluid cell right here, which we need to augment a little bit. We're going to give the fluid cell the hardened integral components and the expanded tank construction augment, because that way it can store 256,000 millibuckets, which means that we can stop it at 250,000 like we have for all of our liquids. And if we set this guy to redstone high. We give it a fluid level emitter, and the storage cell gets a fluid storage bus. We can set this up by grabbing a bucket of blazing blood, and we can toss that over here, set it for 250,000, like so. Emit when levels are below limit. Give this guy redstone control high. And now we can actually set up an input on top, and then the left side can be in and out. We can do auto input as well, and we can increase this all the way. And there we go. This should start doing the blazing crystals. And currently we're probably just gonna run out of blazing crystals, and they're being made as fast as they possibly can. And I haven't actually shown you, I upgraded the rods for our blazing crystal production. All of these rods are now the energizing rod spirited, which is this crystal, which I have also automated over here. So this is going by very, very quickly now. If we now add a blazing blood bucket over to the expert bus here, we should start getting blazing blood in the resource combiner, and we should start crafting more and more nether technium until all of it has been crafted, which means that we need to craft 300 of these, 300 of these, 300 of these, 300 of these, because they will get used slowly but surely. As we turned on the nether technium ingot generation, we basically started running out of power because all of our flux plugs are at their maximum capacity, which is 5036 FE per tick, which means that we can possibly take the nether technium plates, which have actually been made. Are we getting any nether technium, or are we just... Oh, it's filling up the machine now. Yeah, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take all the technium plates, I'm gonna put them in this furnace, because you can smelt them to technium ingots, right? So we're gonna delete the output on the bottom, and we're gonna smelt these down, and then I'm gonna upgrade them into thermogenerators of the higher tier, and hopefully that will help a little bit with the power. I currently have enough for 1 row of these, so we'll see how much these produce now that they've been upgraded. 840 RF per tick out of the 280 RF per tick. Okay, that's gonna be a big increase. So I have 43 nether technium, and it's slowly being made, so I'm just gonna basically wait until I can upgrade more of these. Oh, actually, I have enough, probably, for another one. Yeah, I do. Oh, and I've completed the quest for a stack of technium, which I have been completing in between episodes, which just means grabbing a stack of technium ingots out of the storage drawer. But anyway, let me upgrade another 9 of these, basically. The upgraded ones are now producing 15,000 FE per tick, which is basically the amount that the 3 of the other ones are producing combined together. So it's going to be very good to upgrade them to the next tier as soon as possible. So I just have to wait for more nether technium to be made. And as soon as I have, let's say 4, I can upgrade 1 machine and slowly but surely get them all transformed into the higher tier. We have currently run out of shroom lights, and that is the thing that is holding the nether technium ingots back right now. So for that reason, I have added some nether technium ingots into here to increase the speed by 50%. So that's going to help a little bit with the shroom lights. But again, it's a 10% chance to even roll them on each tree absorber operation. And I've also removed them from here, from this export bus, to make technium plates. Because as soon as we get 4 nether technium ingots, I'm going to upgrade the power as we can. And at least, now that this isn't running, the power should be okay, because this is draining like 4,000 RF per tick normally when the resource combiner was working and when this guy was working. So for the moment, I think we should be okay on power. Yeah, our storage has actually backed up again. And I actually didn't really show you, but I did make the gargantuan storage, which is the last tier of the storage. It's this guy, which requires 6 Herculean flux storages, which require each 6 basic, which is the flux blocks. And since we have flux automated, I just auto-crafted the flux blocks and crafted this manually. But it stores 128 million RF, so that's kind of like a backup for our power. And it's been doing fine so far. But here are the upgrades. We have the 2 rows over there, and then here we have 1 row and 1 thermogenerator. So I think in between episodes, we're gonna try and upgrade all of them. And maybe we can look into getting more shroom lights being made with more tree absorbers. I guess that could be a thing. But all of that is future Fiki's problem. Fiki today doesn't really care. So with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I'm really hoping you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, Make sure to hit the like button. You can also subscribe to get notified of when new videos go live. And you can support me on Patreon as well if you want to play with me on this very server. And I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.